So I wanted to know what was really going on behind the scene because I'm starting to see there are more female mayors of the city, doctors, and they're not even promoting men hardly. So I asked Nick, find out what's going on behind the scene. Who running all this now? Because it's just not manly what is happening in the city and across the country. And I know that they have replaced men with women, which that means they're taking out the image of God and put in the women in the homes and the schools and everywhere, and things are just falling apart. So Nick is here, my producer. And so Nick, what did you do?
Okay, well, you asked. I've been noticing more females in charge and all that.
Yeah.
And so I did a little digging.
One thing about it, Nick can dig.
I can dig, all right?
He really know how to bring up some information.
And
Go ahead.
Listen, there's something that's been happening over thousands of years of human history, and this is not new, where the king is simply a puppet while the queen spreads her wickedness from the shadows.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens.
They even have a saying right now that the man is the head, but the woman is the neck.
I think that's from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but it could be even more. It could be a reference to something much more ancient.
A lot.
Yeah. So I focused on the states that were experiencing some of the worst rioting and stuff: Illinois, Minnesota, New York, California, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And each one of them have a lieutenant governor that's a female. And
Really?
they're either the first black woman, the first Native American woman, or something like that, right?
And these states experience the worst rioting going on. Okay.
And so first I wanted to focus on the lieutenant governors of these next few states. For example.
And the lieutenant governor is like the vice president to the president.
Right. But in a lot of these cases, they were given duties way beyond their scope as a supposed lieutenant governor, right?
Amazing.
And then the king just sat back while the kingly duties were given to the queen.
So the king,
meaning the governors,
is really carrying out the order of the queen.
Right.
So the queen is the king maker.
Exactly.
Which means the queen is the king's god.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And so in Illinois, the lieutenant governor, Juliana Stratton, is the first black woman to become lieutenant governor in the state's history, right? And so I was digging in and I found this clip of her talking about black maternal health. And you could just tell it's like all mama. Oh, I'm all about the blackness in this clip.
Here's that.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and I am pleased to be closing out National Black Maternal Health Week,
Where's
which
her hair?
was founded and led by the Black Mamas
It's pulled
Matter Alliance. You may not know this, but in Illinois, Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women. And this is across socioeconomic levels, because we know that, for example, although not in Illinois, across the nation, we've heard stories such as Serena Williams, who shared the fact that she nearly died in childbirth. So as the chair of the Illinois Council on Women and Girls, and as a Black mama myself, I really wanted to have this conversation because I've been thinking a lot about how this campaign has really shifted in light of what we are determining about the disparities in the light of COVID-19.
Disparities, racial disparities, all those things.
I remember when we used to elect people based on qualification, not their black mama, and all that mess. Where did you get that soundbite from?
I got that from her Facebook, right? Because she was doing like a Facebook profile about like Black Maternity Health Week.
And that is in charge of Chicago.
She's the lieutenant
governor.
Oh, yeah. And
no wonder Chicago going to hell in a handbasket.
this is Chicago, Illinois. Oh man, and it's not even the beginning, right? In the clip, you heard her say, "I'm the head of the Council of Illinois, Illinois Council on Women and Girls." This is something that she started, right? And this is money goes to this. So imagine you're the king, and the queen is like, "King, let me make this council where I focus on women and girls." And she's like, "Yeah, here, take all this money." And then you start enacting laws, bills, changes for your women and your girls.
Amazing. Mind blowing. See, I knew somebody behind all this stuff.
It goes deep.
And there's nothing manly about what's happening right now.
She even commented on George Floyd and the black community. And this tells you everything, this next clip.
Here's that.
It's George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and too many more. But it's also the fact that there are liquor stores and not enough grocery stores. Payday loans, but little or no access to business capital. Trauma on top of trauma, but too few mental health services. It's decades of disinvestment, disillusionment, and distress. Generations filled with redlining and Jim Crow, sundown towns, and restrictive covenants. But what really hurts and angers me the most is Black lives being killed with impunity.
What a lying heifer.
Lie. Mm-hmm.
Just all lies. It has everything to do with the destruction of the family, a lack of belief in God, and a lack of character. It has nothing to do with all that stuff you made up.
Cops killing with impunity. Imagine that lie that you're telling blacks. That's what they're like, wow, yeah, we're being killed on the streets. When apparently, it turns out only one black man died in Minneapolis from cops last year. One.
Amazing. So where is she? Illinois.
This is the
Why the
lieutenant governor
black
of
on
Illinois.
black crime is through the roof.
Oh yeah. She was also the first one She was the first one in line to buy pot when it was legalized. We talked
that
about
was
it.
her?
That was her. We talked about it a while ago.
Is she on
She's
pot?
Like, she's like all happy. Like, yeah. She was the first one in line.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. That's her right there buying her pot.
And she the lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
And she into her blackness.
Big time.
And lying about everything else. Jim Crow and redlining and all that. See, I told y'all South Africa coming to, it's already here. You just don't know it. And it's building up. White folks, you're on your way to slavery if you don't speak up and get involved. Anyway, go ahead. We got to move a little faster.
Yeah, we'll move fast. So Minnesota, the lieutenant governor, his name is Peggy Flanagan. She's the first Native American woman to be elected to the statewide office, right?
Indian.
Yeah.
An Indian.
Yeah. A total radical, too. This is a clip of her talking about protesting racism.
Buju, Peggy Flanagan, Indishnakaz, Babagan,
speaking some weird language.
Dunchaba, Mangan and Dodame. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I'm Lieutenant Governor of the state of Minnesota, and I'm a member of the White Earth Nation of Ojibwe. And my family is the Wolf Clan. And the role of our clan is to ensure that we're not leaving anyone behind. And that work could not be more important than this moment that we find ourselves in right now. Before I became Lieutenant Governor, I was an organizer, and I was an organizer for 20 years. And when there are protests in the street, I was there. I marched behind Valerie Castile as we mourned the unjust loss of her son. And my heart and my guts are being ripped out in this moment as I also want to go to the streets. And what we've experienced in the loss and the murder on camera of our community member, George Floyd, is horrific. And that space on 38th and Chicago is sacred ground. And people should be able to come together on that sacred ground and mourn and grieve and demand change and justice in policing and every other racist system that we have that has been part of this state.
Wow.
Absolute radical.
I can't believe America allowed these radicals to take over the government.
This is just the tip. This is like not even close. Once we're done with this segment, we could go all 3 hours, but I only put what I got. Like,
and she's a part of the Wolf Gang.
She's part of the Wolf Clan.
Wolf Clan. Is that
of the Earth White Ojibwe tribe or something like that?
It sounds like it's worse than the KKK clan.
Yeah.
She's worse than the KKK clan, the Wolf Clan. Is that a white woman tied up on the floor?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Let's see that. There's a white woman look like on the floor. Is she tied up? I know they got a gag over her mouth.
On the clip?
On that clip. They
Oh,
tie that white.
Peggy Flanagan.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just someone with a mask.
Oh. I thought they had captured a white woman and tied her up. Oh, okay. That's right.
No. But
I'm like, did that Klan tie up the white woman and threw her on the floor?
It's a hostage. This is what we're gonna do to you.
Amazing. Let's go.
Peggy was given a leading role in setting up Tim Walz's administration, the governor of Minneapolis, and this is like to show that the king sends back and gives all the power to the queen. She was given a leading role in setting up the whole administration.
And Tim Walz, white man?
Yeah, Tim Walz is the white man, right?
What?
This is Ilhan Omar's state.
Oh, man, no wonder.
Yeah.
So, Nick, we're showing
Yes.
you what's behind the scene of all this mess going on in the country, just as it does in the home when the women take over. And so let's just knock these real out.
I'm going to
fast so I
go
can
a
get
little
some-
fast here.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little fast here. I just want to talk about quickly the two lieutenant governors of California and New York. The lieutenant governor of California, Eleni Kunalakis, she's another racial, like she's all about race. She pushes that stuff. That was her campaign. Lieutenant Governor
Amazing.
Kathy Hochul of New York. She was given the responsibility. This is the lieutenant governor. Usually the governor does this, but Cuomo was like, you handle this. She was given 10 regional economic development councils, meaning she got 10 regions and she completely planned their whole economic long-term plan.
Did
This
we do Peggy?
Yeah, we did Peggy Flanagan.
Did we show her?
Oh, yeah, we showed her the clip. That was the native woman.
Oh, the Indian.
Yeah, the Indian.
Oh, that looked like they had tied a white woman down on
Exactly.
sitting in the corner. Okay.
So Kathy Hochul of New York, she was given this like economic council to like do the long-term economic plan for New York. So this is the same woman who spearheaded the Enough is Enough campaign to combat sexual assault in women on college campuses.
What a mess.
Man, there's just so many juicy ones, but let me get to Minnesota's state auditor, right? So this is now, that was the lieutenant governors.
Yeah.
This is now just some other people, right? Other heads of state. The state auditor, meaning the woman you have to make happy if you want any money for your program, his name is Julie Blaha, right? And I just want you to see 7E. We'll just skip to 7E. This is her campaign ad.
And we bet that you wanted an auditor who is ready to work. So we built a coalition of young people, of retirees, of people of color and indigenous people, LGBTQ plus activists, electeds, and labor. Yeah.
Just get them all in, right?
What
This woman's funded by a couple of different organizations, but two that are notable. One is Outfront, a radical LGBT rights organization, and another one is AFL-CIO, one of the largest union organizations in the country. Deep left-wing communist ties, a lot of money. Of course, moving on, the Minneapolis public school head. Her name is Kim Ellison, black lady who's into the race thing.
But also, Minnesota is where Ilhan Omar is.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's a so-called congresswoman.
Yes, exactly.
And is Keith Ellison over the public school?
Kim Ellison.
Oh, Kim.
A woman.
Oh, Kim.
Keith
okay.
Ellison is,
Yeah.
we'll get to him in a second, but
Right.
Kim Ellison,
Okay.
black lady who's into the race thing, the public school head in Minneapolis, has since now been calling for the district to cut all ties with the police. No police.
What?
She wants to cut all ties because of the George Floyd stuff, saying that it's enough.
But that's been going on for a while. I just heard, and that's what made me start to realize it. I heard a black woman, so-called talk show host, saying that what they want to do, she said, what we need to do and what we want to do is to get rid of all police forces.
Defund them is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Or some are even more radical. Abolish the police. But a lot of people are saying defund the police, and there's a big push right now
Can
to
you
defund
imagine
MPD.
the hell on earth if that should happen?
There's a huge push right now to defund the MPD, and what that would do is
LPD.
basically
MPD
Minneapolis
over there,
Police
yeah.
Department.
Okay.
It would just basically, it would be the same as abolishing them. It'd be like there's no money, so there's no cops.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Illinois mayor
Is
of Illinois.
Kim related to Keith?
Yes, Keith Ellison. He's the lead prosecutor in the George Floyd case. By the
So
way.
how is Kim related to? Is she
They're
related
married.
to?
They're married.
Kim is related to Keith.
Yes, they're
What
married,
the-
not related. They're married.
Oh,
And he's the lead prosecutor in the George Floyd case, by the way.
really?
And he's all like, "We're gonna make everybody pay." Like he's all like mad about it.
Amazing. Okay,
Mayor of Illinois, Lori Lightfoot.
I rest my case.
Enough said there.
And
And the Illinois Superintendent of Education her name is Carmen Ayala, a Dominican lady, all about the race thing. And I just want you to see this clip, F, on her and immigration in schools.
ooh,
Oh, that's her, by the way.
scare me.
Yeah, certainly it's not an easy time, and particularly for certain students that we have, regardless of their documentation or undocumented status. We are required to provide a free and public education to every single student that walks through our schools. Schools should not be requiring social security numbers or anything that would reveal their legal
True
status
identity.
in this country. They have no obligation, schools are under no obligation at all to enforce any kind of immigration law. And so our major task and responsibility is to the education of the children. These students are being put through a lot when we talk about social emotional learning and some of the trauma that they may be experiencing. Schools need to be safe places where they know they can go, they can get an education, and that they're going to feel safe.
And she has a Jerry curl. America, y'all making a big mistake to put all these women in these type of decision-making positions. They hate men. They hate America. They hate white folks. Y'all better listen up. South Africa is in the making right here in the United States of America. And what does she mean, all these kids who are harmless are being harmed or something dumb she said?
Oh yeah, she was saying that they're going through trauma, right? And that
Trauma with her.
right. I put that in because I wanted to show how like she's all about the feelings and the trauma, right, Mama?
Well, that's why all this mess is happening in the country now. These women, you're putting these women in positions. They hate white people, and they hate America, and they hate the order of God. They hate men. And they're making emotional decisions that goes against what is right, and everybody's suffering for it. Y'all do what you want, but you've been warned. This has to stop. Amazing stuff, Nick.
Yeah, we could go all day with the information, but I just put what I could, you know.
Amazing stuff.
It's crazy. It's just a tip.
That's my producer, Nick. The ankle baby. Look at their hair.
With the Jerry curl.
Because of Chinese virus.
I'm going for the Jerry curl look. I saw old pics of Jerry curls. I'm like, I want that.
Well, you got it. Amazing. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.